Hey everyone, and welcome to another amazing adventure. Today we're following my best pal Quintin and his super fluffy dog, Keesha. Now Keesha isn't just any dog. She is a beautiful white chow chow with a big poofy tail and a super cool blue tongue. And Quintin? He's 8 years old, has bright blue eyes, and you can almost always find him in shorts, a t-shirt, and his favorite baseball cap. Why? Because Quintin absolutely loves baseball. In fact, he has a huge game coming up later today. But before he steps onto the field, he and Keesha have something very important to do. They're going on a treasure hunt. Every game day, Quintin and Keesha go on a special quest. They follow mysterious maps, solve tricky riddles, and search for hidden treasure. It's their pre-game tradition. They believe that every adventure teaches them a valuable lesson that helps Quintin play better and be a better teammate. After they find the treasure, they always rush back to the baseball field just in time for the game to share their discovery and the lessons they've learned with the whole team. It gets everyone pumped up and ready to play. So what kind of adventure are they on today? Let's join them and find out. Look, there's Quintin now, holding a crinkled old map. Keesha is right beside him, her tail wagging with excitement, sniffing the air. The map has a strange drawing on it, a winding path that leads through a forest and past a big sparkling waterfall. At the very end, there's a big red X, marked next to what looks like a cave. That must be where the treasure is hidden. Quintin points down the trail. Ready for an adventure, Keesha? He asks. Keesha lets out a happy bark, as if to say, let's go. Their journey begins as they step into the whispering woods. The trees here are so tall they seem to touch the sky, and the sunlight peeks through the leaves, making little dancing patterns on the ground. As they walk, they hear a rustling in the bushes. Who could that be? Out pops a clever little fox with a long, bushy tail. The fox looks at their map and then points its nose towards a hidden trail they almost missed. It seems the fox is trying to tell them that the most obvious path isn't always the right one. Quintin thanks the fox and realizes his first lesson of the day. Sometimes you have to look for a different approach to solve a problem. It's just like in baseball. You can't always swing for a home run. Sometimes a bunt is the smarter play. Following the fox's advice, they take the hidden path, which is a bit trickier to navigate. It's covered in roots and stones, but Quintin and Keesha help each other along. Soon, they hear the sound of rushing water growing louder and louder. They've reached the sparkling waterfall. It's even more beautiful than on the map. Water cascades down the rocks, creating a fine mist in the air. But how do they get across? The map shows they need to cross the stream to continue their journey. Quintin looks around, feeling a little stuck. Just then, a friendly face appears from behind the waterfall. It's a Capuchin Monkey, swinging by its tail from a long vine. The monkey chatters excitedly and points up. High above the stream is a fallen log, forming a natural bridge. It's a bit wobbly, but it looks strong enough to hold them. The monkey's lesson is clear. When you face an obstacle, don't give up. Look for a creative solution, even if it means looking at the problem from a different angle, like looking up instead of straight ahead. Quintin grins. This is just like when the other team has a really fast pitcher. You can't just keep swinging the same way. You have to adjust your timing and strategy. He gives the monkey a wave of thanks, and carefully, he and Keesha make their way across the log bridge, one step at a time. On the other side of the waterfall, the landscape changes. They find themselves in a clearing filled with colorful flowers and the most amazing-looking birds. One bird in particular catches Quintin's eye. It's a magnificent macaw with feathers of bright blue, yellow, and red. The macaw is trying to crack open a tough nut with its beak, but it's not having much luck. It tries over and over, pecking at the nut from different sides. Keesha lets out a soft whine, as if she feels bad for the bird. Quintin watches, fascinated. The macaw doesn't get frustrated or quit. It just keeps trying, patiently and persistently. Finally, with one last strong peck, the nut cracks open. Quintin smiles. Wow, Keesha, he says. That macaw just taught us about perseverance. He knows that feeling. There have been times in baseball practice when he couldn't hit a curveball, no matter how hard he tried. But his coach always told him to keep practicing, to not give up. The macaw just showed him that persistence really does pay off. If you keep trying and stay patient, you can achieve your goal. This lesson feels really important for his game today. With the macaw's lesson fresh in his mind, Quintin checks the map again. The red X isn't far now. The map leads them to the entrance of a dark cave. It looks a little spooky, but Quintin knows that adventures sometimes require a bit of courage. Keesha, ever the brave companion, trots right in, her fluffy white fur glowing in the dim light. Inside, the cave is cool and quiet. Dripping water echoes around them. They follow a narrow tunnel that opens up into a larger chamber. And there, sitting on a rocky ledge, is a small wooden chest. They found it, the treasure. Quintin carefully opens the chest. Inside, it's not filled with gold or jewels. Instead, there's a single, perfectly round, smooth white stone that feels cool to the touch. It almost looks like a baseball. Next to it is a small, rolled-up piece of paper. Quintin unrolls it. It says, "The real treasure is not what you find, but the wisdom you gain along the way." Quintin looks at the stone and then at Keesha. He understands. The fox taught him to find new paths. The monkey showed him how to find creative solutions. And the macaw taught him the power of never giving up. These lessons are the real treasure. "Come on, Keesha," Quintin says, his eyes shining. "We've got a game to get to." They race out of the cave, back through the whispering woods, and all the way to the baseball field. They arrive just as his team is finishing their warm-ups. Quintin is a little out of breath, but he's buzzing with excitement. He jogs over to his teammates, who gather around him. He pulls the smooth white stone from his pocket. "Guys, look what we found," he exclaims. His teammates look at the stone, a bit confused. Quintin holds it up. "This isn't just a rock," he explains. "It's a reminder of our adventure today." He tells them all about the clever fox and the importance of trying a new approach. He describes the helpful monkey and how they need to look for creative solutions when they're in a tough spot. Then, he tells them about the persistent macaw and how they must never ever give up, even if they're behind. The stone, he tells them, represents all of these lessons combined. It's about being smart, creative, and persistent. His team listens, their eyes wide. They're no longer just thinking about winning. They're thinking about how to play better as a team. They feel inspired. The coach blows his whistle. "Game time, everyone!" Quintin quickly changes into his baseball uniform. Today, he's the catcher. He puts on his mask and gear, feeling ready for anything. The treasure stone is safely tucked into his gear bag, but the lessons are right there with him on the field. The game is intense. At one point, their team is down by 2 runs with a runner on base. Quintin remembers the fox and signals a special pitch to the pitcher, a different one than they usually throw. The batter is surprised and strikes out. Later, the other team has the bases loaded. Quintin remembers the monkey and comes up with a creative defensive play, communicating it to his infielders. It works perfectly. And in the final inning, when everyone is tired and starting to feel discouraged, Quintin thinks of the macaw. He claps his hands and shouts words of encouragement to his pitcher. "Never give up, we can do this." That fighting spirit spreads through the whole team. They rally together and, in the end, they win the game by 1 run. Everyone cheers and celebrates. After the game, Quintin's teammates gather around him, patting him on the back. "That was awesome, Quintin," one of them says. "Those lessons from your treasure hunt really helped." Quintin smiles, feeling proud not just of the win, but of his team and the adventure that helped them get there. He knows that every game will have its challenges, but as long as he has his best friend Keesha by his side, there's no adventure too big and no lesson they can't learn. Thanks for joining Quintin and Keesha on their amazing quest today. What an incredible journey of discovery, teamwork, and learning. If you had fun, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. We'll see you next time, right before the next big game. Bye for now.